Hey everybody, it's time for video number 5 of the Vicon Vincent Special. Today we're going to talk about the aluminum floor. Let's get started. Okay, so we got the frame sitting on the floor at almost right height. It's about 1 inch higher than right height. I've stacked some bricks on top of each other to simulate where the bottom of the floor is going to be, and a piece of wood to kind of get us to where we need to be. So we are 5 inches from bottom of the frame rail to the top of the brick. So that gives us where our floor is going to be. So we're going to drop 5 inches below the frame rail. So 5 inches plus 3 inches is going to be 8 inches plus 1 inch for the 90-degree bend. So a total of 9-inch piece. So we're going to cut that out of the aluminum. The aluminum is 5052 grade, 063 thickness, which is about 1/16 of an inch. You could probably use 050. The 063 was in the I don't know, I guess you call it the Kohl's section. They sell these at discounts at the metal suppliers, or cut pieces that are not full sheets. I got 2 sheets. These are roughly 16 inches wide by 4 feet long, and another sheet. This will be the floor sheet. I'm going to use about half of this for the floor. So I guess they call them remnants. I don't know, I can't remember that. Anyway, these are all 50, 52, 063 thickness. I was going to buy 050, but I found the 063, and I thought, well, I'm saving money on this so I can get the little thicker material. It's a little bit heavier, a little stronger for your floor, which is probably not a bad idea. We're going to cut this with this tool. This is from Harbor Freight. I believe you can get them from Eastwood. They got a couple different styles. This cuts aluminum really, really well. And then when we're ready to put it together, we're going to use an air riveter. I've got a hand riveter also, but the air riveter just makes really easy work of it. So I've already marked my line at 9 inches from the bottom. So I'm going to get the cutter out, and we're going to cut that now. Okay, so I've got the sheet clamped down onto the table here. I'm going to put a little bit of oil on the blades. It's just air tool oil. So this thing just works by nibbling. You see it moving. So when you're doing this, you want to start on the outside of your cut. So use your line as a guide. The cutting blade is going to remove roughly 1/4 inch of material. So you want to set it up where you're cutting, and you're not cutting into the workpiece, you're cutting on the outside of the workpiece so that you don't make it too short. So let's get started. Pretty easy. You can see that cut there. Let me grab the camera so you can see it better. So you see the 2 pieces are cut, and there's the, sorry, I'm trying to do this upside down almost from me, the curly cue. So I'm going to switch this around and cut the other side. Okay, so here goes our second cut. Staying on the outside again of the workpiece. The wider side is my 9-inch side. Okay, so I've cut the second side most of the way through, pulled the piece away from the workbench a little bit. I'm going to finish cutting it now. Just that easy. So this piece we'll save for who knows what for next time. I'll use that. I'm going to cut the other piece. I've already got it all marked off. I'm not going to do the tape. So the next step is to clean this edge up a little bit, and then I'm going to take to my office. We've got a big break. We'll put a 1-inch break on, a 90-degree break on here. So when we come back, you'll see these pieces of metal bent. Okay, so there's one thing I forgot. Before we bend the metal, we're going to clean up the edges. So on aluminum, most of it's pretty soft and smooth, but sometimes you'll get a little rough spot. So right here, where I cut from one end to the other, there's a little bit of a jagged edge here. I feel it with my finger, it's sharp. So what you want to do is take a flat file to that and just kind of work on the edge until it goes away. That's all it took to get rid of that. So one more little piece right there. Just gonna work that off until the chunk is gone, so you don't cut your fingers later. And then the next thing is this tool right here, you need to get one of these. It's a deburring tool. This little blade right here, it deburs aluminum or metal, pretty much anything. I use it mostly on aluminum. Works really, really great. So what we're going to do is we're going to take it along the edge, and you're going to see it pull off a little bit of aluminum. See that little swirly curly cue on there? It's just cutting the edge down. This doesn't take a lot of pressure. It's just cutting the edge down so that it's nice and takes that sharpness out of it, so that hopefully you don't cut yourself. And it's nice and clean. You can also do that by sanding it, but this is a lot faster. So I turn it over and we'll do the other side. You could have flipped it out and done it, but I'm not that coordinated. So we'll just run it all the way down. You see that kind of coming off of there? A little bit of a curly cue coming off. Sometimes it gets really long, sometimes it's short. When I hit this little bump, it'll probably cut off. Yeah, see, it just dropped off that little tiny jagged edge there, which is not going to be a big deal. And that's just all there is to it. So we'll have more in a bit. Okay, well, we got the metal bent. So here's an example of what that looks like. Just a simple 90-degree bend. This is one of the pieces that's going to go in the front. When I started putting this together, I realized that the 5-inch drop, excuse my hand there, the 5-inch drop was great at the back. Got a little too low at the front. It's going to interfere with the springs. So I'm going to have it angled up slightly. So I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so you can see at the rear of the frame where the seat is at, it's a full 5-inch drop below the frame rail. So it's a full 8-inch tall piece with an extra inch for the 90-degree bend to mount the floor in. This is going to kind of run uphill. So this measures 3 inches right here. And the reason I'm doing that on my other two carts, this marker right here is where the spring mount. So there's going to be a spring mount here. So this is going to be notched in, and the spring is going to travel basically right in this space. So there's going to be a notch here. So I realized that it would kind of look better too, having that a little bit of an angle. So let me kind of get back further if I can. So I'm going to cut this off. This is going to get cut off flush with the frame, and the front pieces will be put in. I've already got the back piece set in there and drilled in, and I got some Clecos holding it in place. Guys, if you're doing this with aluminum and not wood, Clecos are your friend. So these are Clecos. They're really simple, comes with a little pair of pliers. I learned about these when I was building my Cobra. So they're basically, you squeeze the handle and they go in there and they hold your panels in place. They're worth the investment, 15 bucks, something like that. I don't know. I've had these now since 2003, so 15 years, and they work perfect. Built several carts with them and 2 Cobras. So let's get to it. Next step is going to be to mark this and cut these off. So we'll do that next and start installing some metal. Okay, so the rear panels, or the bottom side panels, are done. Got it riveted, or not riveted, but I got the holes drilled. I'm going to wait to drill the frame until after I've done a little bit more work, just in case things kind of creep out of the way. So there's both sides there. We'll get the front done a little later, but that's that. Looks pretty good. You can kind of see that angle now, lower at the back and shallow at the front. So looking pretty good. Okay, so we got all the side rails mocked up and held in place by Clecos. Next step is to cut the floor. So we take some careful measurements. We know it's 17 3/4 at the very back and 14 7/8 at the front. So we're going to go ahead and cut it now. Okay, so the floor fit perfect. First time, no charm. So that's just sitting in there loose right now. We're going to call that the end of this video. The next step is going to be filling in the front, but I've got to cut a hole here, and I'll show you what that's all about. Okay, so the next step is going to be installing the springs. We'll make another video on that. So that gets mounted underneath the frame rail, and so you can see that this actually occupies the same space as the aluminum. It bumps up against it. So we're going to clearance this. Once I mount the spring, take the floor out, mount the spring, and then we can clearance where it needs to be. So you can see it interferes right down here. This is going to get notched out and boxed to give the spring room to maneuver. So that'll be the next video. So thanks for watching this video on building the floor. Have a great day.